Um, I'll talk you through it a little bit because it takes a little time to kind of understand it and start working with it. But once you do, it's a really nice daily practice to do. And you can also kind of work uh, with different chakras with the same technique. And you can work with multiple chakras. You can work with the whole system at the same time. So it's kind of cool to do as part of, a daily practice or a morning practice. Or if you're feeling a particular center is unbalanced at some time, you can use this technique and work with it. Yeah. So basically, this is a technique which comes from Mantak Chia's teachings, and he is basically a really famous Taoist teacher, which is coming from Chinese medicine, but it's also very similar in terms of the energy centers, the chakras, like all the terms and phrases are different, but the energy line, the meridians, they are very, very similar in how they operate, right? So Mantak Chia says that there is basically something in the body, a system that is called the microcosmic orbit. Okay. And we don't have to get too much into it, but basically what it means is that it's kind of like this circle of energy. Okay. So what he's saying is that, and it starts again at this perineum, the pelvic floor, what we call the Mula Bandha. Okay. And he says that when you are lifting the energy up, it's going from here, from the back of the spine. So it's going from the back of the spine, it's going to all the chakras. And then it kind of, the first part of the orbit ends somewhere here, okay, somewhere in the head, like almost inside in the roof of the mouth. And then the second bit of it starts from here and it goes like in the front line of the body. Okay. So when you're lifting the energy up, it's coming from the top line. And then when the energy is going down the body, it's going down the front line. Okay. So from the front organs. And then that line kind of again ends at the navel and then it goes down. So then it becomes like a full cycle. So it comes from here and it goes down and it makes like a cycle like this. So, but basically, where this line of energy is getting disconnected is here in the mouth, right? Because it's going up from here, it's reaching up till here, up till the roof of the mouth. And then again, it's starting from here, from the tongue, and then it's going down again. So, when we want to work with this orbit, what we want to do is we want to connect the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Okay. So basically, when we are putting the tongue to the roof of the mouth, this whole circuit is then getting completed, right? So it's starting from the pelvic floor, it's going up the back of the spine, coming all the way here. And then once the tongue is connected, then the second half is going through the front of the body and then coming all the way back down to the pelvic floor. Okay. So it's like this kind of a cycle. So it starts at the back and it comes down in the front. Okay. And how we work with it is we use the inhale. So when we're doing the inhales, you're visualizing that this energy is coming up from this back of the spine all the way up. Okay. And then when we're exhaling, then this energy is coming down from the front. Yeah. And we're keeping the tongue to the roof of the mouth throughout the process so that this orbit is completed, right? The orbit is not closed anywhere. Yeah. Is this more or less clear? Everyone good with it? Okay. So when we do the inhale and exhale, you can do it in one of two ways. Either you keep the mouth closed and you just use the nose for the breathing. Okay. Once I start demonstrating. The second option is that you keep the mouth slightly open. So not very wide, but just this much. And you breathe both through the nose and the mouth. So it depends on how much intensity you want. If you want it to be a little bit more intense, you keep the mouth also slightly open and you breathe both through the nose and the mouth as you breathe in and out. And if you want to just work with the nose, keep the mouth closed and work with the nose. Okay. But in both the cases, this tongue to the roof of the mouth we are keeping so that the orbit is closed. Yeah. Everyone okay with that? So I'm going to guide us. We're going to start by doing one round, okay? And then we're going to bring it to all the different energy centers. So we're going to first do the third eye, then we're going to do the throat, we're going to do the heart, We're going to do the solar plexus, which is here, okay, just in the front, okay, of the rib cage, the last couple of ribs. And then we're going to go down to the lower belly and then again back to the pelvic floor. Okay. And for those of you who don't know the Mula Bandha, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but basically it's the muscles of the pelvic floor. Okay. So for women, it's the vaginal muscles. For men, it's just the muscles between the anus and the genitals. Okay. What we call where the root chakra is. Okay. The Muladhara chakra. So whenever I'm going to cue this Mula Bandha, you're just going to lift those muscles a little bit up. Yeah. Is it clear? Okay. So you're just going to find a nice seat.
Can you repeat the last bit?
Which bit?
The last two sentences I couldn't hear.
Bandha.
Yeah, Mula Bandha, that one. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, it's the muscles of your pelvic floor, okay, like the vaginal muscles between the anus and the genitals. So when I tell you to lift the Mula Bandha, you gently squeeze those muscles, okay, not very hard, but just very gently. Okay, because what that does is it locks the energy at the base of the spine. So then the energy can start moving up the spine. Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to close down our eyes. If you're in seated position, you want to keep like a little bolster on your sit bones. Or if you're seated on a chair, you can just keep your feet down on the ground. That's also fine. Okay. If you're on a chair, just make sure your feet are on the ground so that you're just connected with the energy of the earth as well. Otherwise, you can just sit cross-legged or Padmasana, whatever works. Okay, so you're going to close down your eyes now. And I'm going to ask you to start to visualize this orbit. Okay, so you're imagining it's like almost like a rubber band in your body. Okay, so it's starting from the pelvic floor muscles. It's going up the tailbone. It's going all the way up to the spine. It's coming all the way to the back of the head, to the crown of the head. And then it's going inside to the palate, to the roof of the mouth. Then it's connecting to the tongue. And then from the tongue, it's going down the throat, down the chest, the heart, the stomach, the navel, and again finishing at the pelvic floor. Okay, so it's like this little rubber band. And as you breathe, I want you to just kind of start visualizing it for yourself. Okay, it's like this little rubber band starting from the pelvic floor, going all the way up the spine to the crown of the head, and then coming down from the front of the body, again all the way down to the pelvic floor. Okay, so it's like this little orbit that we're going to be working with as we work with the inhale and exhale. Okay, and if you haven't already, just keep the tongue, tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Okay, so now we're going to do few rounds of inhales and exhales. So as you inhale, you're going to lift that Mula Bandha, you're going to lift the muscles of the pelvic floor. And you're going to imagine with the inhale that the energy is traveling all the way up the spine, okay, down, up that orbit, microcosmic orbit. It's reaching the crown of your head. And then you're going to exhale. And as you exhale, imagine it's just going almost like a waterfall down the front of the body, all the way to the navel. So you're collecting the energy at the navel. Okay, let's just get in touch with this energy. So you're taking nice big inhales. And every time you inhale, I want you to just visualize you're lifting those Mula Bandha muscles a little bit. And you're visualizing that the energy is going up the spine. And as you exhale, it's almost falling like this waterfall down the front of the body. And this energy is getting collected at the navel. Okay, and you think of the Mula Bandha as a pump. So it's kind of pumping the energy in the system. So with every inhale, as you find that little pelvic floor, imagine you're uplifting the energy. It's almost like a suction, like a pump. You're lifting it up the spine. And as you exhale, it's flowing down like a waterfall and collecting at the navel. Here again, with the inhale, lifting up the spine. Exhale, falling like a waterfall, collecting at the navel. So just sticking with this, we're doing a few rounds together. So let's just do maybe 10 breaths together. So we're going to inhale, lift the Mula Bandha, take the energy to the crown of the head. Exhale, imagine it's going like a waterfall all the way down, collecting at the navel. Once again, pulling the energy up from the pelvic floor. Exhaling it like a waterfall down the front of the body into the navel. Inhaling at the back of the spine to the crown of the head. Exhaling into the navel. Okay, just starting to do this at our own pace. And I want you to really be visual with it. So with the inhale, imagine that orbit at the back of the spine. With the exhale, really imagine it coming down like a waterfall, and you're storing this chi, this energy in your navel at the end of the exhale. So inhale, you're lifting it up. Exhale, you're dropping it at the navel. Okay, you're starting to find this orbit, starting to find this circular flow of chi in the body. You can call it chi, you can call it prana, you can call it kundalini energy, but just starting to observe it and try to be as visual with the orbit as you can. Okay, let's make the breathing a little bit faster now. So just follow the sound of my voice. So we're going to take it in. Exhale. Again, taking it in. Exhale. 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 And then I just want you to hold at the end of the exhale. So stay a little with the breath hold. And just imagine all of this energy collected at the navel. Okay, now we're going to begin a second round. But this time when we inhale, instead of going to the crown of the head, we're just going to go to the third eye. Okay, so at the back of the head on the spine, just where the third eye is, but at the back. Okay, so let's inhale. And exhale, same thing. It's going from the front of the body down to the navel. Again, inhale, take it to the third eye. Drop it to the navel. And again, you're starting to find this orbit. So you're taking the energy to the third eye on the inhale. Exhale on the front of the body. The energy is coming down like a waterfall, collecting at the navel. Inhale to the third eye. Exhale down the front into the navel. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And again, stay with this rhythm of inhale and exhale and start visualizing, right? So on the inhale, through the spine, the energy is going to the back of the third eye. And as you exhale, it's coming from in between your eyebrows, again through the front of the body down to the navel. Again on the inhale, lifting into the third eye. Exhale, it's falling like a waterfall to the navel. Just keep going for a few rounds at your own pace. And as you keep doing this, start to notice the subtle sensations that are happening as you visualize this orbit, as you go with this in and out cycle, inhaling into the third eye, exhaling down to the navel. You're just starting to see subtle movements of energy, subtle vibrations, sensations in the body. And keep that Mula Bandha slightly lifted. Every time you inhale, you just slightly lift it. So you're pumping the energy up the system. Then again, at the end of the exhale, just pause here for a moment. And in this pause, you just bring your awareness to the third eye, to that area between the eyebrows. And just stay with it, just notice it. Okay, now we're going to move, we're going to pump the energy up to the throat. So same thing, but this time from the back of the spine to the back of the throat, and then from the front of the throat, it's coming out down into the navel again. So let's begin. Really feeling into this little cycle, this little rubber band of energy that is starting to form in the body. Again, at the end of the exhale, we're just going to hold here. Just keep the focus at the base of the throat. And then we're going to pump the energy to the heart. Okay, so again, from the base of the spine to the back of the heart chakra. So again, inhaling and exhaling, it's falling from the front. Inhaling through the back, falling on the front. Again, staying with this line of energy. Okay, and then again on the next exhale, just imagine the energy flowing like a waterfall collecting at the navel. And then you hold the exhale and just keep your awareness, keep your focus on the heart. Okay, we're going to move to the solar plexus now. So it's somewhere in the middle of your back. Okay, so just where the solar plexus is in the front of the body, in between the last two ribs, it's just corresponding to the back there. So again, we keep that Mula Bandha lifted, we keep the pelvic floor lifted. And we're going to take in a few breaths up the spine and then down in front like a waterfall. Really stay with the visualization of the energy channel. Okay, it will come alive to you the more you stay with the visual, the more you stay with the breath. And use the Mula Bandha as a pump, like you're pumping the energy up with every inhale and you're just allowing it to fall and get stored in the navel with the exhale. And again, we're going to just exhale. We're going to hold the breath. And just this time, notice that solar plexus area. Okay, and then finally, now we're kind of keeping the energy at the navel itself, right? So you're just lifting, you're doing the Mula Bandha, you're lifting the energy at the back of the spine, bringing it up to the navel, and you're exhaling, and it's just staying at the navel. Okay, let's begin. Again, exhale, and then just bring the focus to this navel area. And in this exercise, we're basically storing all of this energy that we're moving up the spine. We're storing it in the navel, right? So at the end of the exercise, all this energy that is now in the navel, you can just return your breath to normal or you can keep the breath whole. And you can just imagine now that the energy from the navel is moving into wherever in your body you need it. You know, maybe it's some muscles, maybe it's some chakra, maybe it's the shoulders. So again, it doesn't matter if it's not fully flowing right now, if you're not feeling the vibration, but just visualize, okay? Visualize that all the energy that you've collected at the navel now is moving into whichever parts of the body that you want to direct it into, okay? It could be an organ, it could be a, a chakra, it could be a muscle. Just imagine that you're directing this energy wherever you need it right now. Yeah, and then whenever it's done, you can just return the breath to normal. You can release the pelvic floor. Just allow your system to come back. Then when you're ready, you can just rub your palms together. You can find some heat between the hands. Bring them over the eyes. And again, move that heat, move that energy to wherever you need it in the body. Okay, so for anyone who's interested a lot in working with chakra, working with energy, getting the prana to flow, this is a really good practice that you can use, right? So the more you do it, you will really start to feel the energy moving in the system. And it's the best way of getting connected to that energy up and down the spine, to the energy flowing in the chakra. So the more you do it, the more subtle your awareness will become, and then you will start to notice how the energy is flowing. And don't worry if it's not coming immediately, you can just keep practicing it, and then, it will come over a period of time. It will come with practice. Yeah, everyone good? Okay, so we're going to get into the breath work. Is there anyone who's doing the class for the first time who needs the video? You can raise your hand or you can let me know. Okay, everyone's familiar. So I'm just going to ask you to lie down, just set your phone up, take water, take a small bio break if you need. We're going to get started.
I just had a question on the technique we just did.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to do the Mula Bandha, the tongue touching the palate and keeping the mouth open along with nose, all three at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And the
Mouth
Mula
open is
Bandha
optional, but the
is
other.
optional. Okay. And the Mula Bandha will release when we start the exhale or by the end of the exhale, just before taking the another breath.
Yeah, so it's important for you to keep the Mula Bandha on the inhale. You can also keep it on the exhale, it's not a problem, but you can release it on the exhale as
Got it.
well. During the inhale, it's important to keep it locked.
Thank you.
Okay, just a request, if anyone has the Zoom blur on their background, just unblur it, because when you're lying down and your body starts moving, sometimes we can't see you anymore. Okay, so I'm just gonna ask everyone to get into a comfortable position. Again, just remember, if you have backache, back issues, you can always keep a bolster under your knees, so that'll relieve some pressure from your lower back. If you're feeling a little bit tired and if you're feeling like there's a tendency to drift or sleep, you can keep your knees bent, keep your feet together, and keep the knees slightly apart from each other. Okay, that'll help you stay more aware during the session. Okay, and when you're ready, you can start to open your mouth. So just opening the mouth nice and wide.